Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Fisher. Coming to you from Studio B, on this episode of AZ Illustrated Science, we introduce you to some special guests with whom you can get up close and personal at the Arizona Insect Festival. And we tell you why some scientists say we should take time to appreciate spiders, roaches, and other such critters. And we give you some of the science behind a new butterfly exhibit in southern Arizona. But first, here's a look at today's top stories.
The U.S. Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals is turning away Arizona's request to postpone pollution control measures for 3 power plants. In January, Arizona asked the judges to hold off putting the rules in place so the state could have more time to review the EPA requirements. The 3 power plants in question are Apache, Cholla, and Coronado. A separate rule was written for the Navajo Generating Station. All of the plants are powered by coal. Environmental groups are hailing the court's decision, while state officials say it should be up to Arizona to make decisions about air quality, not the federal government. The backers of a measure to prevent election law changes in Arizona say they have enough signatures to get the referendum on the November 2014 ballot. The petition signatures for the effort are due Thursday, but the committee is turning them in tomorrow. The Protect Your Right to Vote committee is hoping to put on hold a number of changes to the Arizona legislature made this year to the state's election law. The group needs about 86,000 signatures and says it has well over 100,000 signatures to turn into the Secretary of State's office. The election law changes, known as House Bill 2305, make it more difficult for Arizonans to vote because the new law requires permanent early voting lists to be purged at certain times. It also says volunteers will not be able to turn in ballots for other voters. If the committee's signatures are verified, the question of whether the law should go into effect will be on the November 2014 ballot. U.S. Secretary of Education Arne Duncan will spend tomorrow morning visiting schools in Tucson. He starts his day at TUSD's bus depot, where he'll talk with drivers. He'll also visit Sunnyside High School, where students will showcase technology in the classroom. Earlier today, Duncan told Arizona Public Media that the implementation of Common Core is putting the state's schools on the right track. And that's a look at tonight's headlines.
This weekend, insect enthusiasts, and maybe even some not so enthusiastic festival goers, will trek to the university's Student Union Ballroom for the Arizona Insect Festival. Georgia Davis tells us more about this annual event and why organizers say even those who want to turn away from their television at the mere mention of insects should give this festival a try.
If even the thought of an insect, from the impressive and not-so-small jungle nymph to the spectacular atlas moth, makes you squirm or hide your face in fear, then an entire festival devoted to insects may not be your idea of a fun time. But entomologists at the University of Arizona hope they can change your mind with the 3rd annual Arizona Insect Festival.
This is a great opportunity to come and learn how it's not necessary to be so afraid of them. And you need to know those that hurt you, that could hurt you, and they're few. There are, of course, but then the vast majority of them will not. And when you learn that, then your fears melt away.
The first festival was held outside on the University of Arizona Mall. This year, it's inside in the Student Union, where students, adults, and children of all ages can take in the AC and the spectacle.
We'd like to show the general public how this misunderstood group of organisms, how important they are, how awesome they can be, how beautiful they are.
Graduate student Jason Schaller, who is studying the family tree of the bombardier beetle, has been collecting insects just for the festival.
Centipedes, tarantulas, giant vinegaroons, which is a whip scorpion, and basically anything that's very interesting.
And that has taken him out of the lab and off the beaten path.
I've been down in the Patagonia Mountains a lot, the Chiricahua Mountains, the Santa Ritas, and the Atascosa Mountains.
Finding insects that intrepid festival goers can even hold. Research fellow Tanya Renner started out as a plant biologist. Eventually, she found herself studying how insects locate and interact with other insect species. Her work could, for example, help scientists develop methods of biocontrol, in which living organisms rather than chemicals are used to control pests.
If we're able to understand the chemosensory systems of these beetles, we might be able to understand how do insects find insects that maybe live on plants, are issues for disease or pathogens.
While continuing to do their research, UA Entomology professors and students such as Renner, Schaller, and Moore have been helping to organize one of the educational exhibits at the Insect Festival, the Arthropod Zoo.
This year we're going to put it in a broader context of why arthropods are so successful and highlight some key innovations that arthropods have evolved that have allowed them to diversify so amazingly throughout the world.
We have interactive stations where kids and students and adults can come in and learn about key arthropod innovations. So we have a number of these innovation stations that include size.
Some sizes are more advantageous, like very large species can avoid predation better, can actually have more offspring, but smaller ones can fit in more places, find more hiding places, evolve, adapt more quickly to different microhabitats.
Wings.
Wings is a huge evolutionary innovation that allowed for insects to, well, travel far distances and spread very quickly and inhabit new areas.
Shape.
And the shape station will show how the exoskeleton, having your skeleton on the outside, can allow for just a crazy array of shapes to match different habitats and different ways of life.
And we also look at adaptations to certain habitats.
Habitat will just show various species from kind of interesting habitats that you wouldn't think would be a place for insects to live, such as caves or within a carcass.
And that's to name just a few of the innovation stations. And for those of you who still aren't squeamish,
We'll have a cockroach cuddling area with big pillows of cockroaches so that people sit on cockroach-shaped pillows and cuddle with Madagascar hissing cockroaches, which is a big hit.
and that is only a taste of what visitors can expect, literally.
One of our professors is going to cook up many arthropods and serve them in different ways to the public, which is one of our most favorite ones.
Other booths will feature some of the research going on at the U of A, such as how it is possible to study bug brains in order to better understand how human brains work. Believe it or not, insect festivals have become popular all around the country.
When you have a pool of enthusiastic entomologists that want to share their love and knowledge for insects. And fortunately, we work on some charismatic organisms that the public are interested in. They may be a little bit creeped out by, but it kind of adds to the excitement of it all.
And maybe even helps people to understand that insects are something to value, not fear.
They do provide incredible services to us in establishing a functioning, healthy ecosystem.
And we just want you guys to appreciate them like we do, because there's a lot of love there.
The Arizona Insect Festival will take place this Sunday, September 15th, in the University of Arizona Student Union. In addition to sewing cockroach cushions and preparing insects for baking into cookies, organizers have been scouring the mountain ranges throughout southern Arizona collecting insects. And we have some of them here now, along with entomologist John Palting and Goggy Davidowitz, for a little sneak preview of some of the special guests you can meet at the festival. Gentlemen, thanks for joining us today. Thank you. John, what makes insects so interesting?
They're probably the most diverse organisms on Earth. They are the most diverse organisms on Earth. And because of their small size, they're found just about everywhere. So if there's endless variety, and for those people that are interested in such things, you can never possibly get bored studying insects.
And Goggy, why are insects valuable and important to our ecological system?
Well, insects are at the towards the bottom of the food chain in a lot of habitats. A lot of organisms like some mammals, birds, other insects eat insects. And insects are the main pollinators of most of the food that we eat. Every fruit tree is pollinated by an insect. Most of the fruits and vegetables that we eat are pollinated by insects. Without insects, we wouldn't have the food that we have to eat.
And gentlemen, you brought some examples of some of the insects that'll be available at Sunday's Arizona Insect Festival. I'd appreciate if you could please show us a few of them and explain a little bit about them, please.
Sure. Now, I have a couple things here that are not native. This is a bird-eating spider, and this is a South American land crab. But we brought these to show the diversity of arthropods. We're not just showcasing insects, but all arthropods. And arthropods are a group of animals with exoskeletons, so they're skeletons on the outside of their body, and they have jointed legs, and they are the most successful organisms on planet Earth. And these represent the three main groups of arthropods. These are the arachnids, which include the spiders, scorpions, ticks, the crustaceans, which are mostly marine. This includes Mr. Crabs here. And also in people's yards, they have little pill bugs and sow bugs, which are also crustaceans. And then finally, we have the insects, which is the largest group. And these are the ones most people are familiar with. But we'll have a variety of arthropods at the Insect Festival. And arthropods around the world are very important, not only in ecosystems, but in human lives. They're used as food, as most people are familiar with crabs, lobsters, and shrimp. And in other parts of the world, they eat other insects, grasshoppers, termites, etc.
And Goggy, who are these folks you've got running up and down your arm here?
So these are Dynastes beetles. They're, you can find them around Tucson in the higher elevations in the mountains. You can see, they're called Hercules beetles. They have large horns, and the horns are used in male-to-male combat. So when the males are vying for a female, they'll grab each other with the horns and flip each other off the branch.
Kind of like elk?
Kind of like elk, yes.
Okay, great.
If you look, one of the things at the Insect Festival is people get to look at these things very closely, which for insects, because they're small size, you have to look at them carefully. You can see from a front view, he has a little shock of red hair, which is really kind of cute.
Yes.
And that's one of our goals is to help people appreciate the diversity and beauty of these things.
So we will have a lot of insects for people to handle, to hold, to play with, and to ask questions about.
Great. How many exhibitors will there be at the event?
We have 20 booths. People probably 80 to 100. We have 8 different departments across campus from 3 different colleges. We have people from not from the university that are involved in the festival.
And could you tell me a little bit about the caterpillars we have on the table here?
Well, in the insect world, there's sort of 2 different ways of going from a juvenile to an adult. And the more advanced insects have what's called complete metamorphosis. And they start out as an egg, and then they become a larva, which is just a feeding machine. And these are all the same species of caterpillar. You can see there's different color morphs. And then they become a pupa, and then they change dramatically into an adult. And then we also have the other sort of type of lifestyle, which grasshoppers, cockroaches, and some of the more primitive insects exhibit, which is they start out they hatch from an egg into a small nymph, and then they just become larger and larger and larger. And so there's 2 very different ways of development that goes on with insects. There goes the katydid.
There goes the katydid.
And so we're just highlighting those two different groups of insects. So we have the ones that go from a nymph, egged nymph and adult, and then we have the ones that have the pupal stage, and that's the more familiar ones to most people, the caterpillars and the beetles.
What are the new ones you just brought out?
These are horse lubbers, the grasshoppers that are common around Tucson in the grassland areas, slightly higher elevation than we are. They obligately eat different plants. So they'll nibble on one plant, then move to another plant, then move to another plant. And they sequester some of the nasty chemicals in plants and which prevents them from being eaten.
Well, this is all very, very interesting. I look forward to seeing some of these critters on Sunday at the event, and I want to thank you both, gentlemen, for coming today.
Thank you.
Thanks.
President Obama spent his day on Capitol Hill today, arguing for both diplomatic and military steps to force Syria to relinquish its chemical weapons.
If a diplomatic solution were found, it could avert military action. We talk with Republican Senator Susan Collins of Maine.
And Mark Shields and David Brooks preview tonight's primetime presidential address on Syria.
While Chief Foreign Affairs Correspondent Margaret Warner reports from Cairo on the growing split among Egyptians as the political crisis continues there.
Good evening, I'm Gwen Eiffel.
And I'm Judy Woodruff. Those are just some of the stories we're covering on tonight's NewsHour.
Since 9/11, the U.S. has been using a surprisingly effective strategy to fight terrorists and rogue nations attack their banks.
Al-Qaeda has found it harder, costlier, and riskier to raise and move money around the world, and I think ultimately that's the success that these tools can bring.
I'm Renee Montaigne. War waged by the Treasury Department on the next morning edition from NPR News.
PBS NewsHour Weekend is kind of a natural next step. There's no shortage of news that's out there, but why do people come to us? To give them some context and analysis that they can't find somewhere else.
Saturdays at 7 on PBS 6.
Recently, scientists discovered a new species of scorpion in the Santa Catalina Mountains. Biologist Rich Ayrey, living in Flagstaff, and Michael Weber from the University of Nevada in Las Vegas are two members of the team that made the discovery. They join me now to tell us more. Michael and Rich, thanks so much for joining us today. First, tell me a little bit about the scorpion. Rich, where does it live?
Okay, well, what's really interesting to me is it's in the shadow. The studio is in the shadow of where it lives. It lives at 7 Cataracts Overlook in the Catalina Mountains. So 90%, I'm sure, of the people that are watching this have driven by it many times in their lives in Tucson. And they're found sometimes under the rocks, but mostly you find them at night with a black light. And we'll show you that later.
Okay. And Michael, what does the new scorpion look like?
Well, it's a tiny brown scorpion, and they can range from being, a lighter brown to dark brown. Usually they match the substrate really well. And females tend to be about 1 inch, and males are a little smaller. And their pinchers are a little bit darker than the rest of their body. And on the very end of their tail, where their stinger is, it tends to be very reddish in color.
And Rich, where does the scorpion get its name? Did you two get to name the scorpion?
Yes, actually. The third person who's not here, the third person on this team, if you will, his name is Rob Bryson, and he is a Ph.D. biologist up in Seattle. And he happened to be in the Catalinas looking for something else, found this scorpion and sent me a photo of it on the telephone. And when I looked at it, I could tell right away that it was something different. And so we collected some, and then Michael and I examined them, if you will.
Okay. And what is the name of the scorpion?
Bohovus brysoni, which is, Bohovus is the name of the genus. Brysoni is named for Rob Bryson, who found the first one and brought it to our attention.
Okay. And how does one go about discovering a new scorpion?
Well, sometimes it happens by accident, and sometimes there's something about a certain area where you think a new species may exist. So in the case of scorpions, what you'll do is you go out with a UV light because they glow under ultraviolet light. You'll go out with a pair of long tweezers, and you walk out at night, cruising the terrain, looking, searching. You'll find a scorpion. Usually they're glowing bright green. And in my case, I pick them up with a tweezer. I place them in Ziploc bags temporarily, and then for transport back to the laboratory. And it's kind of a tedious process. So you'll, under a microscope, you're viewing these specimens, And what you're looking for are differences in the color, the size, the shape, or body proportions of the scorpion. And what you want to do is search the literature for what's already known, for species that have already been described. And then you'll write it up in a scientific paper and you submit it to a journal for peer review. And pending peer review, if it's good and they find that your species is, your hypothesis is good, then it gets published. But as always, species descriptions are working hypotheses. So even if it is published, pending new data that comes in, it may or may not stand up the test of time. But luckily for us, this species was distinct enough to consider it a new species.
So this is officially verified as a new species that went through the whole process of whatever it takes to do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, external peer review. Yeah.
External peer review, okay. And the publication you talked about was in the journal Zookeys, is that correct? Your article, the article you published said that for 50 years, only 4 species of mountain scorpions were known in the mountains of Arizona, and within the last 6 years, 9 new types have been discovered. To what would you attribute that flurry of activity in terms of discovering new scorpion species in Arizona's mountains?
Well, the first thing is what Mike mentioned, black lights. And I have a small black light with me, which we will be able to show them the color that you can see the scorpion by. And so people like myself, like Mike, like Rob, we're out in the mountains looking for these things, okay? And having been doing this since 1972 for myself, I can generally get a pretty good idea just by looking at them. Aha, this looks different. Those claws look thinner or longer. The tail segments are longer. I have this, I have like a key inside my head, if you will. That's why that's why Rob sent me that photograph. So, but I want to share one more thing about that. The first new scorpion in Arizona I ever described was Vahovus debore, also from the Catalina Mountains, near Summerhaven. It was found in somebody's house. Now I have a website, it's azscorpion.com, and this nice lady sent me an email and said, I found a scorpion in my house, and she described it to me. I said, well, it sounds like something from a mountain range nearby. I said, but I'd have to have one in my hand to really tell. She said, well, come down anytime. I went to her house. My wife actually found the first one, and I named that scorpion Vahovus debore, debore being my wife's maiden name. So that's where that one got its name from, but also just some lady sent me an email about what she found in her house.
Okay. And we have about half a minute left. Is the new scorpion you discovered, is it venomous and dangerous to humans?
Well, all scorpions are venomous, but they range in their toxicity and their harm that they can pose, the threat that they can pose to humans. So this species, since it is new, work hasn't been done specifically on these, but the majority of scorpions are pretty harmless to humans. The only one that you should worry about are probably bark scorpions.
And how would we know a bark scorpion from any other scorpion?
Well, bark scorpions tend to be yellowish in color. They're really thin and flat. They carry their tail curled to the side, and they have really skinny, elongated pinchers. And they're very common in Arizona. So if you have scorpions inside your house, chances are that it is a bark scorpion.
Well, Michael and Rich, I want to thank you both very much for joining us today and for letting us know about the new scorpion you've discovered.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Many insects inhabit southern Arizona's Sky Islands and other parts of the state, and some of the most important of these creatures also happen to have some intriguing habits. Tonight we'll teach you more about ants and bees by taking you to a display at Butterfly Wonderland near Scottsdale, Arizona. As the name suggests, butterflies are the main draw at this popular attraction, but you can also learn about other interesting six-legged life forms, many of which you can find, maybe, right in your own backyard.
Well, this ant exhibit, first of all, displays their natural habitat in what we call the diorama. And this is our native harvester ant, which is Pogonomyrmex. And in this exhibit, you can see how they operate in their natural environment, harvesting seed, moving their trash piles around. It's what they like to do. So this is a very popular exhibit because people can get up close and personal with the harvester ant without being stung. It's a very special exhibit in that you can see different facets of ant behavior. Ants are extremely important environmentally. They're the janitors of the desert and forest floor. They are pollinators as well, and they are really great soil movers and turners of the soil for aeration purposes. In Arizona, we literally have hundreds of different species of ants, most of which you never see with your naked eye. Some are very tiny, some are larger, like the harvester ant. The harvester ant is one that you'll find in your own backyard. They're probably one of the most abundant ant species that we have. They can sting, so they're not one you want to cuddle with, but only if you pick them up or step on them. They're not aggressive. We have a really amazing bee exhibit, and we call it the Honeybee Extravaganza. You can actually see the bees going about their daily business, and you can see the queens. We have 2 queens and her workers. They tend to her constantly. We have a nice honey store that the bees have created from foraging up to 3 miles away from the facility, so they can come and go as they please. And the workers do that all day. You can see the bees going down a runway tube, and if you look closely, you can see them leaving the building. And they'll often come back with their pollen pouches filled, and it's a great teaching tool. That idea was created by a man named Rich Cowan, and he actually built this honeybee exhibit. There is one like it in Colorado and one like it in San Diego. So those have been the testing grounds for this honeybee exhibit, and they actually thrive. It's nice to be able to have the exhibit indoors where there's some climate control, because of course at this time of the year, a lot of bees, the worker bees, spend a lot of their time actually fanning the hive to keep it cool enough for the queen and all the larvae inside. They learn very quickly, and they come and go based on chemical cues, and they navigate around the area and are able to find their way back by the sun. So it's kind of a genius design, really, and you can see everything that would go on inside of a beehive. Honeybees are extremely important in the environment for agriculture. They are the best pollinators of many of the crops that we produce. Almonds in California are exclusively pollinated by honeybees. And now honeybees are big business in transportation back and forth from where they spend their summers to California in the early spring to pollinate the almonds.
PBS proudly presents the Latino chapter of the American story.
My father thought that the United States would be like paradise.
You cannot close your eyes and your ears any longer, because we are here.
I, Sonia Sotomayor, do solemnly swear.
A landmark television event.
This is our homeland, where we all belong.
Latino Americans.
Coming soon to PBS 6.
That's our show. To post a comment on any of these stories or to keep up with the latest news, go online to our website at azpm.org. I'm Alan Fisher. Thanks for watching.